You don't think as deeply as you believe you do. Not because you lack intelligence, but because you've been surrounded by noise for so long. That silence now feels unfamiliar. And without silence, there is no depth. Look around you. Everything is designed to keep your mind moving, but never going anywhere. Short videos, endless scrolling, opinions thrown at you every second. You are constantly reacting, but rarely reflecting. And when the mind never slows down, it never goes deep enough to understand anything. It only skims the surface. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." But in today's world, people don't listen. They don't observe. They don't think. They react. Instantly. Emotionally. Without ever asking, why? Why do I believe this? Why do I feel this way? Why am I reacting like this? These questions are uncomfortable because they slow you down. And when you slow down, you begin to notice things. You notice how easily your attention is pulled, how quickly your mood can change based on something small, how often your thoughts are not even your own, but echoes of what you've consumed. And that realization is where the journey begins. Because deep thinking is not about knowing more. It's about seeing more. Seeing clearly, without distraction, without illusion, without rushing to conclusions. Most people fear this level of clarity, because clarity removes excuses. It forces you to confront truth about your habits, your decisions, your direction. And truth is heavy, but it is also freeing. When you think deeply, you stop blaming everything around you. You stop reacting to every little thing. You stop being easily influenced, because you begin to understand not just what is happening, but why it is happening. And once you understand why, you gain control. Marcus Aurelius wrote something simple, but powerful. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Read that again. Not your circumstances, not your environment, not what happens to you. The quality of your thoughts. But how can your thoughts have quality if you never take the time to examine them, to question them, to refine them? Most people live with unexamined thoughts, and unexamined thoughts create uncontrolled lives. They act without understanding. They choose without clarity. They live without direction. Not because they are incapable, but because they never go deep enough. Deep thinking changes that. It forces you to slow down, to sit with an idea longer than is comfortable, to explore it from different angles, to challenge it, until only truth remains. And that process is where power is built. But if deep thinking is so powerful, why do so few people practice it? The answer is simple. Because it's uncomfortable. Not physically, but mentally. To think deeply, you must sit still. And when you sit still, everything you've been avoiding begins to surface. Doubts, regrets, unanswered questions, thoughts you've pushed away for years suddenly return. And most people are not prepared for that, so they escape. Not once, but constantly. They fill every quiet moment with noise, music in their ears, videos on their screens, conversations that mean nothing. Not because they enjoy it, but because silence feels heavier. Silence forces you to face yourself, and facing yourself is one of the hardest things a person can do. Seneca warned about this in a different way. He spoke about how people are afraid to be alone, because when they are alone, they are left with their own minds. And for many, that is not a peaceful place. But here's what most people don't realize. The discomfort you feel in silence is not a sign to escape. It's a sign to stay. Because on the other side of that discomfort is clarity. Think of your mind like water. When it's constantly disturbed, you can't see through it. Everything is blurred, unclear, distorted. But when it becomes still, even for a moment, everything settles. And suddenly, you can see. Deep thinking creates that stillness. But the world you live in is designed to prevent it. Every platform is competing for your attention. Every notification is pulling you outward. Every distraction is keeping you at the surface. Because a person who never thinks deeply is easy to influence, easy to control, easy to distract. But a person who can sit in silence and think clearly is different. They are harder to manipulate, harder to rush, harder to confuse, because they don't just react. They understand. And understanding creates independence. Epictetus taught that no man is free who is not master of himself. And you cannot master yourself if your mind is constantly controlled by external noise. If your thoughts are always reacting, you are not thinking. You are being led. Led by emotion. Led by impulse. Led by whatever captures your attention in the moment. But deep thinking breaks that pattern. It creates space between stimulus and response. And in that space, you gain power. The power to pause, to question, to choose. Instead of reacting instantly, you begin to respond intentionally. And that one shift changes everything. Because most mistakes in life don't come from lack of intelligence. They come from lack of thought, rushed decisions, emotional reactions, unquestioned beliefs. All of them are symptoms of a mind that never slows down long enough to think deeply. But when you train yourself to pause, to reflect, to go beyond the surface, you begin to move differently. You speak less, but with more meaning. You act less impulsively, but with more precision. You think longer, but arrive at clearer answers. And over time, this compounds. Your decisions improve. Your awareness sharpens. Your confidence grows. Not because you're guessing better, but because you're understanding more. And that understanding comes from depth. This is why deep thinking feels slow at first. Because you are no longer rushing. You are no longer reacting instantly. You are no longer satisfied with surface-level answers. You are searching for truth. And truth takes time. But once you begin to experience that clarity, once you realize how much you've been missing, you won't want to go back. Because the surface starts to feel empty. Shallow conversations, shallow opinions, shallow thinking. You begin to see through it. Not with arrogance, but with awareness. And that awareness is the beginning of real control. So what does it actually mean to think deeply? It's not overthinking. It's not getting lost in endless worry. And it's definitely not filling your mind with more noise. Deep thinking is different. It is controlled, intentional, focused. It is the ability to take a single idea and stay with it long enough to understand it completely. Most people never do this. They jump from one thought to another, never staying in one place long enough to uncover anything meaningful. But depth requires patience. Imagine digging for water. If you dig in one spot, slowly, consistently, eventually, you will reach it. But if you dig a little here, then move, then dig somewhere else, you will stay on the surface forever. That's how most people think. They scratch the surface of everything, but master nothing. Deep thinkers are different. They stay. They take a question and follow it. Not for seconds, but for as long as it takes. They ask, what does this really mean? Is this actually true? What am I missing? And they don't stop at the first answer, because the first answer is usually shallow. So they go further, layer by layer, until they reach something real. Marcus Aurelius practiced this constantly. He would sit with his thoughts, write them down, challenge them, refine them, not for entertainment, but for clarity, because he understood something most people ignore. Your mind is not automatically clear. It must be trained. And deep thinking, is that training? It sharpens your awareness. It strengthens your judgment. It builds your ability to see beyond appearances. Because most things in life are not what they seem at first. People present images, not truth. Situations appear urgent, but are not important. Emotions feel real, but are often misleading. Without deep thinking, you accept everything at face value. But with it, you begin to question, to analyze, to understand. And that is where clarity begins. Epictetus taught that it is not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Think about that. Two people can face the same situation and experience it completely differently. Why? Because of how they think about it. One reacts instantly, guided by emotion. The other pauses, reflects, and chooses their response carefully. That pause, that moment of thought, is everything. It is the difference between reaction and control, between confusion and clarity, between weakness and strength. Deep thinking gives you that pause. It slows everything down, just enough for you to see clearly. And once you see clearly, you stop being controlled by appearances. You stop chasing what doesn't matter. You stop reacting to every small thing. You stop being pulled in every direction, because you understand. And understanding creates stability. This is why deep thinkers appear calm. Not because they feel less, but because they understand more. They've already thought through situations before they happen. They've already questioned their reactions. They've already examined their beliefs. So when life presents a challenge, they are not caught off guard. They are prepared, not through luck, but through thought. Seneca once said, "He who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." At first, this sounds like a warning, but there's something deeper in it. Most people suffer twice, once in their imagination, and once in reality, because they never stop to think clearly. They let fear run freely. They assume the worst. They react emotionally. But a trained mind, a thinking mind, does something different. It examines the situation, separates what is real from what is imagined, questions the fear, breaks it down, and in doing so, it removes unnecessary suffering. That is the power of deep thought. It doesn't just help you understand the world. It helps you master your experience within it. It gives you control over your reactions, clarity over your decisions, and strength in moments where others collapse. But this level of thinking does not happen by accident. It is built slowly, deliberately, over time, and like any discipline, it requires effort. So now you understand what deep thinking is, why it matters, and how it separates those who move with clarity from those who move with confusion. But understanding something is not the same as becoming it, because deep thinking is not a concept. It is a discipline, and like any discipline, it must be practiced daily. Not when you feel like it, not when it's convenient, but consistently, because the mind, if left untrained, will always return to distraction. So the question becomes, how do you train it? The first step is silence. Real silence. Not scrolling quietly. Not sitting with music. Not relaxing with distractions. Silence means removing input completely. No noise. No stimulation. No escape. Just you and your thoughts. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will wander. It will search for something to hold on to. anything to avoid stillness. That's normal. Because you are breaking a habit of constant distraction. But if you stay, if you resist the urge to escape, something begins to happen. Your thoughts slow down. They become clearer, more structured, more intentional. And for the first time, you begin to observe your mind, instead of being controlled by it. This is where deep thinking begins. The second step is reflection. Not random thinking, not uncontrolled thoughts, but directed reflection. Take a single question and stay with it. Why did I react that way today? What am I avoiding? What actually matters right now? And don't rush the answer. Let it unfold, layer by layer, because the first answer is rarely the truth. You have to go deeper. Challenge your own thinking. Question your assumptions. Look at the same idea from different angles. This is how clarity is built. Marcus Aurelius did this through writing. He didn't write for others. He wrote for himself. To organize his thoughts. To challenge his beliefs. To refine his understanding. And you can do the same. Journaling is not about recording events. It's about examining your mind. Write your thoughts. Then question them. Is this true? Is this useful? Is this under my control? This process forces you to think deeper, to go beyond surface-level reactions. And over time, your thinking becomes sharper, more precise, more intentional. The third step is discipline. Because deep thinking requires effort. Your mind will resist it. It will try to escape. It will look for easier paths. Quick answers, simple conclusions, comfortable beliefs. But growth does not happen in comfort. So you must train yourself to stay longer, to sit with difficult questions, to face uncomfortable truths, to think beyond what is easy. Epictetus taught that discipline is the foundation of freedom. And nowhere is that more true than in the mind. Because when you can direct your thoughts, instead of being controlled by them, you gain something most people never experience: mental independence. You are no longer easily influenced, no longer easily distracted, no longer pulled in every direction. You become stable, grounded, clear, and that clarity begins to change everything. The way you speak, the way you act, the way you make decisions. You stop chasing everything and start choosing carefully. You stop reacting emotionally and start responding intentionally. You stop living on the surface and start operating from depth. And over time, this creates a transformation, not an external one, but an internal one. A shift in how you see the world, how you see yourself, how you move through life. You become more aware, more controlled, more precise. Not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. And that strength comes from thought, deep thought. And now you see it. The difference. Most people are controlled by the noise around them. But a few learn to control the silence within them. That is where clarity lives. That is where discipline is built. That is where power begins. But this is not something you hear once and suddenly master. Deep thinking is not a moment. It is a practice. A daily one. Because every day, the world will try to pull you back into noise, back into distraction, back into shallow thinking. And if you are not careful, you will forget. You will lose the clarity you've just gained. You will return to reacting instead of understanding. That is why this path requires consistency. Not motivation, not inspiration. Consistency. The kind that is built quietly, day after day, thought after thought. So if something in you shifted while listening to this, pay attention to it. Don't ignore it. Don't let it fade. Because most people will. They will hear this, feel something, and then go right back. to living without ever truly thinking. But you don't have to. You can choose differently. You can train your mind, sharpen your awareness, build a level of clarity most people will never reach. And if you're serious about that, then don't let this be the end. Return to this space daily, not for entertainment, but for discipline. Because this is not just content. It is a way of thinking, a way of seeing, a way of living, without illusion. And if you're ready to keep building that mindset, stay connected. Because this journey doesn't end here. It deepens, quietly, consistently, powerfully.